Poor bad. Poor Minky had to die. So unfortunate.
Whoa, honey, I think the mink ate the kids.
No! Save them!
Please!
Hi, I'm Jenna, and I will be doing the first 7 terms of the discuss and identify. So, the first term is diaphragm, and this is a diaphragm that separates the thoracic cavity from the abdominal cavity. And the layers of serosa are the parietal. Parietal is what covers the inside walls of the body, and visceral layer covers the organs. Next, I will be talking about the body cavities. We have 5 of them. First, there is the cranial cavity, which has the brain inside of it. Then we have the dorsal body cavity that encloses the brain and the spinal cord. The thoracic cavity encloses the heart and the lungs up here, and the abdominal cavity encloses most of the digestive organs and kidneys, and the pelvic cavity is down here, and that encloses the bladder and reproductive organs. I will be going over the greater and lesser momentum, and the greater momentum is located in front of the intestines, and the lesser momentum is located behind the liver. So if those are here right now, they would be in front of those. And next I'll be going over the esophagus, which up here you can see that this is the trachea, and in front of the trachea is this tube thing right here, and inside of that is the esophagus, and the stomach is over here. Now we are moving on to the stomach, where we start off at the pylorus, which is this harder area right here, and the lesser curvature is this curve right here, and the cardia is this arc thing right here, and the greater curvature starts from the outside and goes all the way around the stomach, and the fundus is over here in this area, and this is the entire body of the stomach. So here are the lobes of the liver. This one is the right lateral lobe. Up here is the right median lobe, and in this middle area right here is the quadrate lobe. To the side of it is the left median lobe, and this entire piece right here is the left lateral lobe.
Hi, my name is Adoku, and I'll be talking more about the things we need to know for this mink. Let's first begin with chyme. Chyme is basically like a type of fluid mass that is partly digested food, and it's expelled by the stomach into the duodenum. And then when we continue talking more about what we call food, depending on what stage of digestion it is, I want to talk about waste. So waste is basically the outcome of what the large intestine makes, and it contains like a lot of body toxins, and is eventually like eliminated through the anus of the mink and also other animals. And the pancreas is basically something that secretes a mixture of enzymes called pancreatins for digestion. Sadly, we are unable to really label that on the mink because of the mink's condition. For the salivary glands, we have 3 main ones. We have the sublingual gland, which is located underneath the tongue of the mink. Which is located underneath the tongue of the mink. We have the submandibular glands, which is located on the bottom cheekbones of the mink. And we have the parotoid gland, which is located at the back mouth of the mink. So basically, when we're talking about saliva basically is a chemical way that we can digest our food. One mechanical way could be just like your teeth. Saliva is made up of 99.5% water. It has electrolytes, mucus, and antibacterial compounds. When we talk about the kidney, I want to bring your attention to right here, mainly this kidney right here. So the kidney basically helps filter the human blood. And one interesting thing for you to know is that people on dialysis, people get on dialysis whenever the kidneys can't filter out the bad toxins or retain the good stuff. The renal medulla is the second most inner part of the kidney. So blood enters into the kidney through the renal artery. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is the cortex, which is the most outer portion of the kidney. I'm sorry I was unable to make any good jokes because I didn't want any of my jokes to sound poopy.
Hi, I'm Olivia, and we are going to start with the stomach. And at the top of the stomach is the cardiac sphincter, and at the bottom right here is the pyloric sphincter. And then we move into the gallbladder, which is a little hard to see, but it should be in this area. And the gallbladder stores and concentrates bile salts prior to exertion into the small intestine. And then we go into the spleen, and that filters and stores blood to protect the body from infections and blood loss. And in overall digestive system, there's the peristalsis, and that is the involuntary construction and relaxation of the muscles of the intestine or another canal, creating a wave-like movement.
Go.
And then here is where the bolus starts in the mouth, and it is chewed food to be ingested. Okay, and then we go into the small intestine, which absorbs 90% of the nutrients from food we ingest. And then as we move down, we go into the duodenum, which gets chyme from stomach. And then we move along and go into the jejunum, which is nutrient absorption. And then as we move down, then it goes to the ileum, which is nutrient absorption and reabsorption of water. And then we move down into the large intestine, which digests food. And as we move down again, then we get into the colon, and that is reabsorption of water. And then we get into the rectum, and then that is temporary containment of the feces. And then we get into the last part, which is the anus, and that's where like the fecals come out of.
Hello, my name is Elash, and I'll be covering the chambers of the heart currently right now. So we have the pericardium, which is on the outside. It covers the whole heart. And then we have the epicardium, which is just below this fatty layer. So this would be the epi. And then we have the myocardium, which is in between. And then we have the endocardium, which is the part where blood would be touching it. And then for the chambers of the heart, we have the left atrium, and then we have the left ventricle. We have the right atrium, and then we have the right ventricle. The left ventricle is bigger because it has to pump to the whole body, versus the right ventricle only has to pump in between the lungs and the heart. So there's less muscle mass due to that, so that's how you could tell the difference in between left and right. So I'll be covering the lung system. So right here we have the trachea, which is aka known as the windpipe for layman terms, but it helps bring oxygen into the lungs. And then I'll be covering the parts of the lung right now. So here we have the right cranial lobe, and then we have the right middle lobe, which is this top portion right here, and then we have the right caudal lobe down here, and then the right lobe has an accessory lobe right here. As well, we have the left cranial lobe, and then we have the left caudal lobe. Right here we have the bladder for the mink, which will be able to hold the urine and be able to have it as a reservoir to be excreted later on. And here we have the urethra. The urethra is inside of the penis, and the ureter comes from the kidneys and goes straight into the bladder. And as well, we have the spermatic cord, which is located in this area right here, which allows for semen to be brought into the penis. And then we have the testicle, which is right here, which is its main function is to create testosterone and to hold and produce sperm.
Hi, I'm Titus, and I will be kind of showing off the last of what the mink has to offer. So right here in this area, we have the pelvic area. This is basically where the intestines are supported, and it also holds the internal organs in place. Over here, you can find the nephros inside the kidneys, which we're not really going to look into. And inside the nephrons, there's also the glomerulus. And basically what these two do is they filter blood in the kidneys and then send them over to the ureter. Now, when the filtering takes place, basically the blood then the blood or the components of the blood, certain components of the blood get absorbed. Some get selectively absorbed, while others get completely absorbed. Some components, like sugar and amino acids, get completely absorbed, while others, like water and salt, get selectively absorbed. Once all the components of the blood that need to be absorbed get absorbed, then the waste products that get turned into filtrate get sent from the kidneys to the ureter. And finally, the epididymis is a long coiled tube that sends sperm to the testes.
How could this happen to me? I've made my mistakes, got nowhere to run. The night goes on as I'm fading away. I'm sick of this life, I just wanna scream. How could this happen to me?
Freaking bad minks.